Come down with. Definition: to become ill. Example number 1. Anne came down with the flu and was very sick. Meaning, she caught the flu. Example number 2. When our teacher came down with a serious illness, we had a substitute teacher. Meaning, when our teacher became very ill, we had a substitute teacher. Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I haven't seen Mike at the office for a few days. Do you know what happened to him?
He came down with the flu last weekend and has been resting at home since then.
Oh no, that sounds serious. Has he been getting any better?
Yeah, he's slowly recovering. He said he's starting to feel a bit better and hopes to be back at work next week.
Clean up. Definition: to make someone or something become moral or responsible. Example number 1. If Donald doesn't clean up his act, I think Mary will leave him. Meaning, if he doesn't become more responsible, I think she'll leave him. Example number 2. Kathy's boss was tired of her behavior, so she finally cleaned up her act. Meaning, she started acting more responsible.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I heard the new CEO is making big changes to clean up the company's image.
Yes, she's implementing strict policies against corruption and emphasizing corporate responsibility.
It's about time. The scandals were really damaging our reputation.
Definitely. It's refreshing to see leadership taking steps to clean up and set a positive example.
Cut down on. Definition: to reduce the amount of something. Example number 1. My cholesterol was high, so my doctor told me to cut down on fatty foods. Meaning, my doctor told me to reduce the amount of fatty foods I was eating. Example number 2. If Bob doesn't cut down on his drinking, Julie is going to leave him. Meaning, if Bob doesn't reduce the amount of his drinking, she's going to leave him.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I've been thinking I need to cut down on my coffee intake. I'm up to 4 cups a day now.
That sounds like a good idea. Too much caffeine can really affect your sleep and anxiety levels.
Exactly. I plan to start by replacing one of those cups with herbal tea.
That's a smart move. Herbal tea can be very relaxing, and it's a great way to cut down on caffeine.
Come on to. Definition: to make clear that someone is interested in someone in a romantic way. Example number 1. It was so inappropriate when my boss came on to me at work. Meaning, it was very inappropriate when my boss made a sexual advance toward me in the office. Example number 2. When Susan was sitting at the bar, a drunk guy came on to her. Meaning, when she was sitting at the bar, a drunk guy made sexual advances towards her.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
Did you notice how Derek was acting at the party last night?
Yeah, I think he was trying to come on to me. He kept asking if I'd like to go out sometime.
Really? Did you tell him you're not interested?
I did. I was polite but firm about it. He seemed to understand and backed off.
Calm down. Definition: to become relaxed after being nervous, upset, or excited. Example number 1. I was so upset and stressed after the car accident, and I really needed to calm down. meaning I needed to take some deep breaths and become relaxed after the accident. Example number 2. Joan was very upset when she lost her job, but I told her to calm down, meaning I told her to relax.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I can't believe I messed up my presentation today. I'm so embarrassed and upset.
It's okay, Ava. Everyone makes mistakes. Why don't you take a deep breath and try to calm down?
I've been trying, but it's hard. I feel like I let everyone down.
You haven't let anyone down, remember. Learning from this experience can help you grow. Let's focus on how you can improve for next time.
Bail out. Definition: to help someone out of a bad situation. Example number 1. When my friend got arrested for drunk driving, I went to the jail and bailed him out. Meaning, I went to the jail and put up the money to get him out of jail. Example number 2. I was late for the seminar I was giving, but my colleague bailed me out. Meaning, he started the seminar for me so it would start on time and I wouldn't have any problems.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I heard your brother got into some trouble with his business. Is everything okay?
Yeah, it was a tough spot. He was close to bankruptcy, but I decided to bail him out. We're working on a recovery plan now.
That's very generous of you. It must have been a difficult decision.
It was, but he's family. Plus, I believe in his business vision. Together, we'll get through this.
Buy into. Definition: to believe an idea, often a false one. Example number 1. I'm not buying into your idea that this is a good area. Meaning, I don't believe what you said about this being a good area because I know it's a bad area. Example number 2. Maria bought into Jeff's idea that they should live together, but they are very different and it was a mistake. Meaning, Maria believed Jeff's idea that they would be compatible, but they weren't.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I can't believe how many people are buying into that new diet trend without any scientific backing.
Yeah, it's surprising. Just because a celebrity endorses it doesn't mean it's actually effective.
Exactly. People should do their own research before buying into such claims.
Right. It's important to think critically and not just accept everything we hear.
Come up. Definition: to arise, to occur, to happen, to transpire. Example number 1. I'm sorry, but I can't make it to your show tonight. Something came up. Meaning, something happened that's preventing me from coming there. Example number 2. I'm never inviting Brad to another party because he always says he's coming. Then he says something has come up and he can't attend. Meaning, he always says something has occurred that's not enabling him to come.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I'm sorry I had to cancel our lunch plans last minute. Something urgent came up at work.
No problem, I understand. Things like that can come up unexpectedly. Is everything okay now?
Yes, thanks for asking. We managed to handle the situation, but it was quite stressful.
Glad to hear it's all sorted. Let's try to reschedule our lunch for some time next week.
Count on. Definition: to depend on or become certain of someone or something. Example number 1. You can always count on me to help you. Meaning, You can always depend on me to help you. Example number 2. I can never count on Victor because he's very unreliable. Meaning, I can't depend on him because he's unreliable.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I'm really nervous about this job interview. What if I mess it up?
You've prepared so much for this, Mia. You can count on your skills and experience to carry you through.
Thanks, Jake. It's just that the stakes are so high.
I understand, but remember, you can always count on me for support. Let's go over some interview questions together.
Bring into. Definition. To make someone become involved in a discussion. To cause someone or something to be in a particular situation. Example number 1. Please don't bring Joe into this conversation. It really has nothing to do with him. Meaning, please don't make Joe a part of this conversation. It's none of his business. Example number 2. You brought Karen into the group, so you should ask her to leave since she's not following the rules. Meaning, you got her involved in this group, so you should be the one to ask her to leave.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I think we should bring Sarah into this project discussion. She has a lot of experience with client relations.
That's a good idea. Her insights could really help us navigate through the client's demands.
Exactly. Also, bringing her into the discussion might give us a fresh perspective on our approach.
I'll reach out to her and see if she's available to join our next meeting.
Fight off. Definition. To try hard to repel something or keep something away. Example number 1. I feel like I'm catching a cold, so I'm going to take some vitamin C to fight it off. Meaning, I'm going to take some vitamin C to keep the cold away. Example number 2. A guy attacked my friend in the alley and he had to fight him off. Meaning, he had to push him away so the guy wouldn't harm him.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I've been feeling a bit under the weather lately. I'm trying to fight off this cold.
Make sure to get plenty of rest and stay hydrated. It will help you fight off the illness fast.
Thanks. I've been drinking a lot of water and trying to get extra sleep.
That's good to hear. Hopefully, you'll be able to fight off the cold soon.
Dump on. Definition. To tell someone all of your problems. Example number 1. Whenever I'm with Amanda, she always dumps on me. Meaning, she always tells me all of her problems. Example number 2. Brian told Arthur that if he dumps on him again, he's not going to listen. Meaning, he told Arthur that if he tells him all his problems again, he's not going to listen to him.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I've been feeling really overwhelmed lately. Can I dump on you for a bit?
Of course, feel free to dump on me. I'm here to listen.
Thanks. I just need someone to talk to about everything that's been going on.
I'm here for you. Let it all out.
Fill in. Definition. To tell someone about recent events that they're unaware of. Example number 1. I missed the meeting, so can you please fill me in on what happened? Meaning, please make me aware of what I missed by not being at the meeting. Example number 2. I took notes so I can fill you in on what you missed in class. Meaning, I took notes so I can make you aware of the material you missed.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I heard you've been out of town for the past week. Let me fill you in on what's been happening.
Oh, I appreciate that. I feel like I've missed out on a lot while I was away.
Well, there have been some changes in the office, and a few new projects have started.
Thanks for filling me in. I'll catch up on everything as soon as I can.
Dream up. Definition. To think of a plan or idea, especially an unusual one. Example number 1. Rich is always dreaming up the craziest schemes. Meaning, he's always thinking of the craziest schemes. Example number 2. You always dream up these useless plans. Meaning, you always think of these plans that aren't practical or useful.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
We need to come up with a unique marketing strategy for our new product launch. Let's start dreaming up some innovative ideas.
Agreed. Let's think outside the box and dream up something that will really grab people's attention.
I've been dreaming up some unconventional approaches that could generate buzz in the industry.
That's exactly what we need. Let's gather everyone's ideas and see what we can dream up together.
Force on. Definition. To push on someone something they don't want. Example number 1. Charles is always trying to force his strange ideas on me. Meaning, he's always trying to push me into believing his strange ideas. Example number 2. A drunk guy was trying to force himself on Judy, and she called security. Meaning, a drunk guy was trying to push himself on her, so she called security to protect her.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
We need to come up with a unique marketing strategy for our new product launch. Let's start dreaming up some innovative ideas.
Agreed. Let's think outside the box and dream up something that will really grab people's attention.
I've been dreaming up some unconventional approaches that could generate buzz in the industry.
That's exactly what we need. Let's gather everyone's ideas and see what we can dream up together.
Dwell on. Definition. To think or talk about something for too long, especially something unpleasant. Example number 1. Ron is always dwelling on the past. Meaning, he always talks about the past for too long. Example number 2. If you keep dwelling on all of those negative things, people aren't going to want to listen to you anymore. Meaning, if you keep talking about all those negative things, people won't want to listen to you anymore.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I can't stop dwelling on that mistake I made during the presentation. It's been bothering me all day.
I understand how you feel, but dwelling on it won't change what happened. It's important to learn from it and move on.
You're right. I need to focus on finding a solution rather than dwelling on the problem.
Exactly. Let's brainstorm some ideas together and figure out how to move forward.
Dish out. Definition. To give freely. Example number 1. Janet dished out the ice cream to all of the kids. Meaning, she put a serving of ice cream in each child's bowl. Example number 2. I don't like the way my boss is always dishing out criticism. Meaning, I don't like the way he frequently criticizes his employees.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I'm really grateful to Tom. He always dishes out valuable advice whenever I need it.
That's great to hear. It's wonderful to have someone who's willing to dish out support.
Absolutely. I don't know what I'd do without his willingness to dish out his time and expertise.
It's a testament to his generosity and kindness.
Force out of. Definition. To make someone tell you something they don't want to tell you. Example number 1. The boy was afraid to admit that he broke the vase, but his father forced it out of him. Meaning, his father convinced him to admit what he did. Example number 2. My coworker wouldn't admit that he played a prank on our boss, but when our boss got very angry, we forced it out of him. Meaning, we made him admit what he did to our boss.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I couldn't believe it when they forced the truth out of Mark about the project delays.
Wow, they must have really pressured him to get him to talk.
Yeah, they didn't give him much choice. It's concerning how far they're willing to go to uncover the truth.
Absolutely. It's important to respect people's boundaries and not force information out of them.
End in. Definition. To result in. Example number 1. Our vacation ended in disaster. Meaning, our vacation resulted in a disaster when the hurricane hit. Example number 2. Ken's race didn't end in a good way because he fell and broke his ankle. Meaning, his race didn't have a good result because he fell and broke his ankle.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
Did you hear about the argument between Tom and Sarah? It ended in tears.
Oh no, I hope they can work things out and resolve their differences.
Me too, but things seem pretty tense between them right now.
Hopefully, it won't end in a permanent rift between them.
Face up to. Definition. To accept or acknowledge an unpleasant fact or situation. Example number 1. Patrick couldn't face up to the fact that his daughter was failing out of school. Meaning, he couldn't accept the fact that his daughter wouldn't be able to graduate. Example number 2. Nancy couldn't face up to the fact that her company was closing her department. Meaning, she couldn't accept the news that her department was closing and soon she'd have no job.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I've been avoiding dealing with my financial situation, but I know I need to face up to it.
It's never easy to confront difficult realities, but facing up to them is the first step toward finding solutions.
I agree. I've been putting it off for too long, and it's time to take action.
You've got this. I'll be here to support you every step of the way.
To become ill. Come down with. To make someone or something become moral or responsible. Clean up. To reduce the amount of something. Cut down on. To make clear that someone is interested in someone in a romantic way. Come on to. To become relaxed after being nervous, upset, or excited. Calm down. To help someone out of a bad situation. Bail out. To believe an idea, often a false one. Buy into. To arise, to occur, to happen, to transpire. Come up. To depend on or become certain of someone or something. Count on. To make someone become involved in a discussion. To cause someone or something to be in a particular situation. Bring into. To try hard to repel something or keep something away. Fight off. To tell someone all of your problems. Dump on. To tell someone about recent events that they're unaware of. Fill in. To think of a plan or idea, especially an unusual one. Dream up. To push on someone something they don't want. Force on. To think or talk about something for too long, especially something unpleasant. Dwell on. To give freely. Dish out. To make someone tell you something they don't want to tell you. Force out of. To result in. End in. To accept or acknowledge an unpleasant fact or situation. Face up to.
Did you find our exploration of English idioms insightful? Kindly like, subscribe, and activate notifications for more enlightening content. Thank you for watching.